There are as many stories in the inner cities as there are people. Good stories, bad stories, stories about pressures and pursuits, false hopes, broken promises, stories about the siren call of a modern world. Many fail to cope and turn to find a thrill, a purpose, an escape in drugs. Alcohol, cocaine, heroin. Perhaps conned into thinking that once or twice won't hurt, or it'll be a laugh, good fun. But then the reality. The harsh reality of addiction. The trap that creates a growing monster. A person whose vision is only focused on getting that next fix. Lying, stealing, abusing relationships. No price is too high to get that next fix. And for many, it's a life lived on the streets, or perhaps the refuse heap. They are the broken of society, the rejected ones. It's not always easy to determine what drives an individual into a life of addiction. It's even less easy to lift that person back, to restore meaning to a broken life. But this is the vision and task of Betel. Betel, a Spanish word meaning Bethel, is a caring community committed to restoring lives broken by addiction. Elliot Tepper is co-founder and international director of Betel Worldwide.
Betel is a Christian ministry that started about 15 years ago in Spain. It started as an effort to reach marginal peoples in the inner cities of Europe, a spontaneous act of love. We met people that needed some help, and we helped them. We found drug addicts and alcoholics and prostitutes in the streets of Madrid.
Elliot is a Harvard graduate who left a position as professor of economics at the University of Americas in Mexico to come to Spain. His intention was to share something of the reality and love of God with academics and business people.
When we got to Spain, we thought we would try to inspire some of the intellectuals of Spain, some of the university people, and we went to that same class of people that we had been given favor with before, but they weren't interested. So we went to the people that were interested, and the people that were interested tended to be the outcasts, the poor, the marginal people, the drug addicts, the alcoholics, the prostitutes, and they came asking for help.
So Betel started from humble beginnings. A few committed people with a desire to communicate the love of God to the desperately needy.
We'd talk to them at the street corners of the metros, in the parks, and then we would bring them home and, give them some refreshment and some food, and a typical mercy ministry, a typical Salvation Army, Mother Teresa kind of ministry. We met people where they were. We had drug addicts and alcoholics that had no place to go. They were homeless, rejected by their families, and we took them in. And I should add that Betel is totally free.
Talking to people on the street is one thing, but reaching out to meet their practical needs was something entirely different. Betelito is the term used for those who come to Betel seeking help. It was Betel co-founder Lindsay Mackenzie who took in the first Betelito.
We actually started receiving them in a residential sense by opening Lindsay Mackenzie's flat, an apartment in San Blas. We grew to about 7 in his flat, but the people were a bit terrorized with tattooed drug addicts and criminals, well-known criminals in the neighborhood, going up and down the elevator. They asked us to leave the building, and then we were forced to rent a farm outside the airport. And that farm grew to 30 men, and then to the next building, and the next farm, the next house, and a girl's house, and all the while the expenses were mounting, and we were forced to start Christian businesses.
Since that first small community, Betel has flourished. Betel has grown into an organization spanning 50 cities in 9 countries. Betel manages over 200 properties, including community residences and business locations like thrift stores, appliance service depots, junkyards, furniture repair and restoration shops, car and truck repair centres, and more. Rebuilding lives one by one in community has always been at the heart of Betel. In communities of caring concern, genuine love. For an addict, love is a foreign or long-forgotten concept.
If you come to Betel, we'll love you. We'll let you be part of the family. And we have to ask them, are they willing to take anybody off the street that's willing to come? Take them, on methadone, on heroin, on cocaine, right off the street, and they begin to detox. They have to, of their own free will, decide that they want to leave the life of drug addiction and all the degradation and misery and make a change. And they have to trust us.
Trust is a key factor, both in gaining the initial confidence of the street addict and in developing a relationship that will instill the belief that he or she can overcome their addiction. One key element in this process is the family factor.
One of the strongest elements in curing a drug addict, one of the strong suits that we have, is we provide an extended family, a really warm extended family for the people. I found that about 90% of all the people in Betel have no father. They have either a dead father, there's a divorce or separation, they have an alcoholic father or abusive father. And that, to me, is probably the defining reason why people turn out of the way into such destructive behavior and lifestyle as taking drugs. And so we accept them when no one else will accept them. We're the place they come where someone will hug them and love them and step with them all night and give them a cup of tea and, and just be their family.
Once someone has joined the Betel family, they're required to become a part of that family. This means they'll adopt the ethos of the community and accept the discipline and supervision of more mature Christians. As well, Betel offers professional help. Working with its pastoral overseers, Betel has psychologists, doctors, nurses and social workers involved in the overall recovery program. Because the Betel family is made up of ex-addicts, it is they who guide the recovering addicts, and nothing inspires and challenges a new Betelito like living in the shadow of a cured ex-addict. A Betel community leader understands, because he or she has been there.
And then once they get in Betel, one of the very, very special elements of the Betel program is that we're a peer-driven program. We have a shadow system. And so everybody, as soon as they're just a little bit along the way, is helping someone else who's not as far along the way. And so you can be 1, 2, 3 months in the program, and you're already reaching down and helping pick up the people off the street. And then when you're 6 months on the program, you can even begin to supervise a little work team. And then when you're a year in the program, you might even be the second leader in a house. And when you're a year and a half or 2 years, you're probably supervising a whole house with 15, 20, 25 people. By giving people responsibility, you create dignity, self-worth. The peer-driven program really does work.
The Betel community is structured as a comprehensive response for recovering addicts. This requires newcomers to make a commitment to community rules, like abstinence from drugs, tobacco and alcohol. They learn to take responsibility for daily chores. eventually become involved in the various Betel business ventures. The beauty of Betel's business activities is twofold. On the practical level, business brings in much needed cash to go towards running costs, housing and food expenses.
Then we started our first thrift store. We began to advertise that we would receive used clothing and furniture, and we'd pick it up, and then we'd fix it up and sell it. Betel, last year we earned more than $7 million, to support our program around the world. And all that money was handled by ex-drug addicts. They run the stores, they count the money, they bank the money, they pay the bills, and we just make certain that they're honest. We've had very, very little money stolen from us.
The unemployable become employed and get involved in work. It becomes a focus, an occupation. The work becomes the means to a new dignity and a sense of self-worth.
The confidence that we inspire in people is that we begin to trust them with money. Not much money, but after a few months you can give someone 1,000 pesetas and tell them to go buy some nails. You send them out and you give them a chance to fall. Of course they go 2 by 2. The first time you begin to trust them with money, and for a drug addict, money, as soon as they got 1,000 pesetas or 2,000 pesetas, $10, $20, £5, they're off for a fix. And if they come back, then you can trust them with more.
As in any venture, people look to the bottom line. The Betel bottom line is exciting. 50,000 people have come through the program in the last 15 years, with thousands of lives restored.
We estimate that a year is about the minimum amount of time we'd like to have someone in our program in our community. And of those 15%, let's say, who actually finish a year with us, about 85% are cured and stay clean the rest of their lives. Our statistics are very similar to all the faith-based programs in the world. And the U.S. government and the British government are beginning to recognize that faith-based programs are the ones that really work. And so we tell our people, you may be a beggar and you may be a drug addict now, but God's going to take you off the dunghill, off the mountain of garbage you're sitting on, and set you among princes. And so we put that vision in their hearts, and they believe that they can become a prince. And we have lots of princes.
I am here in the Betel Center because I was a drug addict. I lived most of my life in drugs. Started with alcohol at the age of 14, and it goes on with hashish, marijuana, and later heroin and cocaine. When I came here, I was nearly dead after such a long time in drugs. Today I'm healed. I'm no more sick. I'm clean. This is something in me that I can't explain in words. This is too great. Half time of your life in drugs, and then you are clean 2 years. It's a totally new life. It's a life that I have forgotten. It's a great gift.
Betel has almost 50 ordained church pastors and 120 house leaders and business directors worldwide. And they're all ex-addicts. Of them, about 60% are HIV positive, a lasting legacy of their days of addiction.
We have another phrase that we use. We say that one of the reasons that Betel has been so successful is because our people live on the edge of eternity. When half your people, or 60% of your people, have AIDS, a few years ago, that meant you were only going to live about 18 more months once you started to manifest full-blown AIDS. And so you didn't make a lot of long-term decisions. And they began to live as if today was their last day. And they poured their whole lives into the ministry, into Betel. And there was a passion to rescue as many as we could off the streets.
Harvey came to Betel 12 years ago as an addict living in the subways of Madrid. Today, He leads Betel's largest fellowship in Madrid.
If you're in Betel communities, you visit us, you eat with us, you spend the night there. If you're in Betel meetings, you hear the Betel people singing. You hear that song that just echoes right out of the depths of the heart of God from eternity. That's one of the secrets in Betel, and it's a gift from God. It's not human.
To the business person or interested potential supporter, Betel offers an excellent opportunity to be involved. You can make a difference. You can make a positive difference in restoring dignity, self-worth, and clear thinking to the lives of many addicts.
Betel is a good investment because Betel is a self-help program, and people are, pulling themselves up by their bootstraps. They're not asking for handouts. We earn 98% of our own expenses in Betel programs. Betel is an investment in people who have mixed all the best of capitalism with all the best of a kind of a Christian Judeo-socialism to produce an entity that's able to help itself and to help others, and is very practical, is very pragmatic.
What of Betel's vision for the future? In the last 17 years, Betel has gone from the first centre in Madrid to over 50 urban areas in Spain, Portugal, France, Italy, Germany, Great Britain, North Africa, the United States, Mexico and India. Betel communities are opening this year in the Ukraine and plan to open soon in Argentina and Florida.
We believe the Betel model works not just in urban areas, not just in North American or Western European areas, but we've proved that it works in Latin America. We've proved that it works in Asia and India. And it's a very transferable model. We're flexible, we adapt to local conditions. We don't ask people to change their religion. We ask people to change their life. We don't have a hostile, fundamentalist attitude towards diversity of culture, diversity of religion. We simply offer the love of God, and we offer men the opportunity to change their life.
Substance abuse and addiction is a worldwide phenomenon. Illegal drug trafficking is already 8% of all international trade. This is no ordinary social problem. Drug spending on this scale means that the illegal drugs industry is now larger than the entire global trade in cars, textiles, or steel. Betel's commitment is stronger than ever. The Betel model has proved itself to be effective. As Betel communities continue to respond to the ever-increasing opportunities, we seek people who will stand with us. Against addiction, against personal despair, against AIDS, against all odds. Betel has proved that with God's love, the broken become the healed, and the healed become the healers. We give you an opportunity to be involved. We're grateful for your interest.
Drugs will be with us and alcoholism until the end of the age. Betel's a program that's needed.